Toddler.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Talk Junkies,
Lizard people.
aliens, Asians.
Bilderberg, which could very much be a real thing, actually. I just
Sure.
probably said the most legitimate thing out of that
Yeah.
sentence.
Well, I know he said Asians.
Anyone who has
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
That's real.
Sorry, I missed that one, guys.
anyone who's able to listen to the internet, welcome to Talk Junkies. Johnny, Jesse in the motherfucking house, my house, in my
tight.
basement, where we're about to do this podcast. Thanks for tuning in. What's going on, guys?
Not much. How was your week?
This is usually my weeks are the same. My weeks tend to blend in to where it turns into just a long period of time. It's like a long sentence.
You know how we always everybody makes the joke about like, oh man, I work so much the days all run together. It doesn't matter what field you work into. Everybody's job, they're all like that. You know, like, oh man, the days run together. I don't remember what day it actually is. Blah blah, so on and so forth. Dude, I legit, not this week, but the week before, on Tuesday, I legit thought it was Friday. Like 100% thought it was Friday on Tuesday.
That's weird. It's weird how that happens.
That's a real fucked.
Yeah, it was. I was way off. Like it was weird. I mean, we're talking for a short amount of time. We're talking literally during a 30-second conversation. You know, but in my brain during this 30-second conversation, I was 100% sold on the fact that it was Friday, even though it was Tuesday.
It's weird that the brain can think that because normally we're in tune with where we are and what time
Yeah, no,
it
I mean
is
people
and
get
date.
confused and they're like, "Oh man, I thought it was Wednesday. It's actually only Tuesday, so on and so forth."
But
Like, you're
no,
off
it's
by-
Friday.
Yeah, no, I was like, my brain was sold. Like I'm like 100% it is Friday, and it took like a good 30 seconds of talking to someone before I was like, "Oh shit."
For sure.
It was weird.
So today there's a few things that we've kind of mentioned to each other. Last week we were outside after the podcast. We were having some normal conversation, and I don't know if you guys want to get into this or not, but we were kind of talking about relationships. Do you want to get into relationships, or do you want to go straight into the other topic that we have in mind?
I didn't even know we had
I don't know.
topics
There
in
was another
mind.
topic in mind, Paul.
Well,
We
the
can
one
talk
I-
about relationships.
the
That's
one-
fine.
The one I mentioned before.
That's easy. Relationships, easy.
So relationships, are
Let's
they
get into
true?
that one.
are they
I'll
real-
solve everybody's problems right now.
Are they
fucking kill yourself? All your relationships problems will go away. Just blast yourself in
I
the
honestly-
face with a 45.
I really want to bring up.
You will have no more relationship problems.
I want to bring up the words you said to Savannah earlier tonight while you were sitting on the couch, because to me it was fucking Can I? Is that chill?
Yeah,
that chill?
fine.
It was
fine.
fucking hilarious. All right, talk about relationships. Jesse's like,
Savannah is a real person. She is my girlfriend. Scenario's been set up.
yeah, there you go. Okay, so
you can tell the story.
everybody knows that Jesse's legs a little messed up right now. So we're getting ready to go outside and leave for the podcast. This is real recent, just like an hour ago, whatever. Yeah, and it's raining, so he needs to put like a bag over it, or else the sock's gonna get all soaked and all that jazz. And
I'm a Boy Scout. You get
yeah,
prepared
it's
for
like,
everything.
oh yeah, blah blah. If you could grab that bag for me, that'd be great. Thanks, babe. And literally like she walks away and stuff like, oh, thanks, babe. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, are we gonna get in a fight tonight? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what? And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is taking place right now? Like, it was all like adorable. Thanks, babe. Ha ha ha. Thanks for the bag that you're putting over my leg. Are we gonna get in a fight? Like out of nowhere. And then they're both just like, yeah, no, we could both just feel it coming. Like we're both a little on edge, and
Yeah,
it's just funny when you've been with someone long enough.
yeah.
That, like
and no, it is. You sense it.
It was just hilarious because I've never heard anybody just out loud be like,
And,
we gonna fight?
because most people aren't just outright.
No, I think that's a
like-
healthy thing.
No,
That's
it probably is
good.
a healthy thing because then you're able to laugh at it.
It was just for me. It was funny. It went from hey, thanks,
No.
babe, to we're gonna fight.
No couple just out of nowhere has an awful fight. There's some stuff from the day that kind of collects and builds, and then each one is holding back some shit that they want to be like, hey, you're a fucking piece of shit. Fuck you is what they're thinking. But no, they're like, hey, I'm going to go take a shit. Can you watch the kid for a couple minutes? And then that fucking happens. That happens, but then it builds and builds, and then there's a fight. But you know that feeling that there's just something in the air where you're like, man, this other person's fucking doing some shit that's pissing me off, and I'm in turn doing some shit that I know is pissing them off. And this has been going on for about 8 hours now, and it'll come to a pinnacle, and there's gonna be some words exchanged, and mainly regrettable, and nobody's getting blown afterwards. Like nobody's getting blown for the next fucking 48 hours because of what's about to be said. You feel that shit. You fucking feel that shit. So all you can do is just, and which was, I guess, smart on my part, where I was like, hey, we gotta fight.
We gonna fight later.
We're gonna fight later on tonight, because that's literally what it was coming up to. In my defense, it's raining very heavy right now, and there are frogs. I live in the basement. It is a finished basement, you assholes. I live in a finished basement.
You just judged yourself.
I did. Because nobody...
You just assumed that everybody was going to judge you.
Nobody who's doing well in life is living in a fucking basement. I'm doing okay. It's not well. I'm just doing okay. But I live in a basement. It is a furnished basement. I have storm windows, and it was raining very heavy, and there were frogs hopping up against the window. I say let the frogs be. Let the frogs be where the frogs are. Savannah loves fucking frogs and is trying to just, the frogs need to be inside from the weather. Like, look at how cute this fucking... I'm like, no. Leave the fucking goddamn fucking frogs outside. They don't want to be inside. There's no... This is not like shitty, god-awful carpet and Shameless on the TV. The frogs don't want to watch Shameless, okay? The frogs want to be outside.
Doing frog things.
Doing fucking frog things. You don't need to be like, oh, look at the cute frog. We need to bring the frog inside. And that was kind of like, man, we're going to, after I get done drinking with the boys tonight, I was like, man, I'm really going to go off tonight. There's going to be a fucking fight. You quit bringing goddamn fucking frogs into my house. Pee all over the goddamn place. My dog already fucking pees all over the place. I don't need frog pee on top of dog pee. My dog probably eats the frog, gets diarrhea, shits frog all over my house. That's what I fucking think of. There's no need for any of that. Just let the frogs be.
So do you let the frogs in the house?
Of course, because she's a woman. And
how many frogs?
Have you ever attempted to tell?
No.
Tell a girl no. I tried tonight. You know what happened? I had like 3 frogs
frog
in
the
my
house.
fucking house. Like just
how big?
They're.
Do you put them in a container, or she let them wander?
I mean, she just likes to hold them and be friends with them, name them, and then it's like a 5-minute ordeal. She gets the frog, she names them. They attempt to escape in absolute fear and agony. She's like, oh, no, the frog, it's just them trying to say hi, is them peeing on me and trying to get away from me. Real rapey vibe, her relationship with frogs. Like, it's not, no, the frog does not want to be fucking friends with you. But, yeah, that's where that comes down to. I don't think, you can't tell another person, you can tell another person your opinion. You can never give them a direct, hey, don't fucking do this. That's not how you do things. With a girl, I think you have to explain to them, these are the reasons why you shouldn't do this, but if you go ahead and do it, that's fine. It'll be okay. This is just a moment in time. And more moments in time will come after this, and then eventually I'll be able to forget about this real shitty fucking decision you're making right now in this one. And then we'll be able to move on. I think it's about all you can do.
So within your relationship, how did that affect your relationship with Savannah?
Absolutely none. I mean, that's
you would
like
hope not at
shit
all. It's
in
one
comparison.
tiny minuscule.
I mean, it's very frogs are a very minuscule
for anyone
hurdle to get over. You know, in the end.
For anyone who's been with someone for a long period of time, when you go from 1 year to people who've been married for 50 years, what do you think that is like? To be with someone for 50 years of your life, you're married to them, you live with them, you have kids with them, and you grow old with them. What do you think that's like? Is that how it's supposed to be? Because I know that there is something in society today saying they're trying to break up. In my opinion, they're trying to break up the family unit, and they're trying to make it...
It feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I'm just curious.
I also think on a genetic kind of thing, though, I don't think we're really... I'm not saying people can't do it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. Like, man, you fall in love, find the one that you want, spend the rest of your life together. But on a genetic level, like, I don't think we're designed to be with someone for that long.
Well, there are other animals in this kingdom that do mate for life.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, obviously it's happened within our own species where people have done that, and it's nothing new, but it's weird that they are trying to break up the family unit. So I'm just curious, would it what your thoughts are, what it's like to be with someone for 50 years. I mean, that's a long time. 50, 60 years. I mean, if you live to be 80, you get married when you're 20. Like, that's a really long time.
I think if you were to come across a couple that were married for like 50 years, you'd come across two different answers to kind of that question. Either they're probably miserable the entire time and just did it because the scenario was never bad enough to leave, and them actually go about finding their a better scenario in life. And then you would find the other half that would say that probably love isn't all fucking sunshine and fucking rainbows and shit, and love is actually a little bit of fucking self-sacrifice, and you have to give up some shit, and love isn't always liking the person all the time. Like, you can be pissed off and fucking be like, man, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit, and still love that person.
See, I feel like your second answer there, or your second explanation, is probably the more accurate one,
Yeah.
which is how
Yeah.
the people who've been in relationships for 50 years are most likely have been really, really fucking mad at each other at one point or another, but they're
You leave frogs outside.
they're smart enough and in love enough and whatnot to realize that you get through those times because that's the person you want to be with, you know?
Yeah, and it's not some, like, you don't, like, I probably love my mother.
Oh man, I just like dropped that all over myself. It was great.
It's fine, it blends in nice.
Yeah.
No, that's an appropriate shirt for spilling things.
I know.
No, but I love the shit out of my mom. I'm pretty sure as males, I think we have a very deep connection to our mothers. Where everybody's fucking different. I can't say this for fucking everybody. But for the majority, males, like, we love our fucking moms. Like, our moms fucking took care of us. Like, we have a deep connection to our mothers. There's still a lot of shit about our moms where we're like, man, I love the shit out of my mom. She is my absolutely favorite person. I love my mother probably more than I love anything else in this fucking world. Do absolutely anything for my mom. I would, absolutely anything for my fucking mom. But at the same time, I can only be around my mom so long before I'm like, man, fuck, I can't hear any more about this, Mom. All right, I'm gonna go do my own thing now. Like, but that's I love my mom, but at the same time, you know what I'm getting at? Like, everybody has, love is not the storybook fucking shit, and I believe in different kinds of love too. Like, love is a very descriptive word for being emotionally, to where it's like caring about somebody, but like maybe not even different levels of caring about somebody, but like different kinds of caring about somebody. Like, I care about fucking you guys, right? Like, I love you guys. I'm okay with saying I love you guys. Fucking love my girlfriend, but in a very much different way than I love you guys. Like, no, like, but there is different kinds of fucking love, and but also I can only, we can only tolerate so much, we see imperfections. Like, it's not like, I don't know where I'm going with this at all.
So,
but
when I don't either, I'll be honest. But when it comes to it's hard to think of when you're talking relationships and the importance of relationships and being a father of two and realizing what it takes to have, be in a marriage and have those two kids. I'm curious in another fashion on, I guess, sorry, it's just kind of, I'm trying to think of on how to say it, but like in a relationship, and that there are broken relationships within our society. The divorce rate in America is really high, so I think it's important.
Up near 50%.
that's because people are fucking idiots. It's not that they're, it's okay.
The divorce
are
rate's also
fucking
real
idiots.
high because when you get married at 18 to the person you've been with for 1 year that you accidentally had a kid with and stuff, like that usually doesn't fucking work out.
Correct.
Okay. You do not get married because you had a kid with that person. You do not get married because everybody else is getting married. And, this is what's expected of me from society. And this is so heavy within the social media presence that's given to us. I remember dating a person way back in the day and hearing things like, oh, this person we went to high school with is getting married. We should now get married, kind of thing. No, that's not how shit fucking works. Just because it's what society or what you're in this person is doing it, so now I need to do it, and that's very much our country. This person's doing it, so we need to fucking do it.
And when you're young, you're
Very susceptible.
Exactly.
Very susceptible.
Whether you're male or female at that point.
If you were getting married, first of all, oh man, if you were getting married under fucking 21, don't do that shit. Don't get married under 21. I think we could all probably
Yeah,
just
no matter how much
agree
you
on
could
that.
be, you guys could have been together since you were. I have a friend actually that they did that kind of thing. They didn't get married at 21. They got married. They just recently got married. He's 26, but they've been together since they were like 14, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with them getting married at 26 since they've been together at 14. But if they were 20, like, you have so much time in front of you. Like, go do some stuff. Enjoy some fucking time.
You don't know who
before
you're
you
gonna
get
be.
kids and.
You don't know who you're going to end up being. To think that you're not going to change at 18 and to think that you're not going to think differently at 30 than you do at 18, trust me, you are going to think completely fucking differently. You'll have so much actual life experience, struggles, all these fucking things that shape you, that you allow to shape you in a good or a negative way. Everything, that happens to you happens for a reason. It's up to you whether or not you make it a good thing or not. But it will shape you, and you will become different because of it. And you can't expect that, not saying that love should change, because love is unconditional and other things like that, but whether or not what's best for you in certain scenarios shouldn't change. But yeah, if you're under fucking 21 and you're talking about getting married, that's the most ridiculous fucking shit I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, I mean, be in a relationship, understand what that person is, at least live with them, know what it's like to live with
okay,
that
that was
person.
going to be my next thing.
Yeah.
You got to live for them for a year. At least a fucking year.
Yeah, I mean, 6 months is a long time, in my opinion.
Get a year under your belt,
I
man.
mean, of course, there's no reason to rush. If you're going to be with that person forever,
if you
don't
haven't
need
taken a
title.
shit with the door open, like blasting, I don't know, some fucking rage
Fecal
against the
matter?
machines. Yeah, and you don't, you got to fucking get that, because that's what's going to happen in life.
Exactly.
You got to test. You got to test all that shit. I mean, that's what, to understand the response of the other person in the end. You can't
but
fuck around with that.
I think what I'm trying to get to is, there are certain communities out there where the father isn't present too much, and when relationships go astray, they have kids and the father's not involved, and I feel like the statistics are very high on a child growing up without a father or a mother in their life, being a single parent mother or father. There's not enough support, and then that kid ends up growing up differently if they were to have both parents involved. So I think when it comes to having kids within a relationship, it's important for both people to be on the same page and both people to be involved in that child's life.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. There's plenty of, even common sense says that you'd want a healthy relationship between the two people that gave you life. Like even if they are separated or something, but like not even arguments or anything in the way that you talk to a kid. Like the kid shouldn't be around arguing and fucking throwing around shit.
Right.
And that's fucking god awful.
Well, no, and obviously they want their parents to be together too. I don't think any kid out there, unless like obviously there's circumstances where like, your dad is beating your mom, or they always yell and they always fucking fight, so on and so forth. But I mean, in a semi-healthy relationship where they just maybe they do the whole like, oh, we just kind of don't like each other anymore, don't love each other anymore, we're gonna get a divorce, all that kind of stuff. I don't think any kid is like, yeah, I love the fact that my parents got divorced, I'm all about it. Like, that's not how you, like you said, every you want the people that you come from to be in a healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's our natural safety mechanism is that you want those too.
So I guess in that aspect, is it within our genetic code or with who we are to have both parents involved in your life? It has to be, in order for you to grow up and be. I know there are people out there who have made it with a single parent family. You know what I'm like, on how they were raised and shit like that. But is it within our genetic code to have both parents there and be involved in your life? Like,
I think we'd like it to, but I don't think it's actually.
But what are the odds that you?
I don't think it's a necessity.
What are the odds that maybe you grow up a different person and a better person because of it?
There have been plenty of.
But you could also grow up a different person and a better person for them being split up.
This is a weird like sociological argument you're talking about as far as the mental state of human beings, because there have been plenty of people who have come from awful households to where parents weren't together, whatever parent they were living with, super abusive, just an absolute fucking god-awful piece of shit. And they ended up being great people and stronger because of it.
I understand that circumstance.
But that's not how you play it. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be a shit parent because guess what? You know, this is going to make you stronger in the end. That's not how you do it.
But I know that there are certain circumstances where people will be involved in those situations, and obviously they shouldn't be in those situations. What I'm saying is, if that same person who was involved in that situation, a very bad one, abusive parent or something like that, didn't have that situation, and they had two good parents. And I'm saying if everyone that was born in this world, I know it's impossible, grew up with two good parents, what would be the end result? I think at the end, if every single person did, it would be overwhelmingly positive.
See, I disagree with this one. I think
too.
that you
I
can
do
be
too,
a different
actually.
person based on, you can have, okay, for example, so my parents got divorced when I was like 11, right around 11, okay? And it was actually it was one of those divorces where there was no, I mean, sure, there were small amounts. There were amounts of fighting equivalent to whether or not there should be a frog in the basement kind of fighting. You know what I mean? Like, very small amounts of fighting. Wasn't anything serious. But they did the whole, hey, we're not meant for each other. We don't love each other anymore kind of thing. They got a divorce. They still, like, I'm grown up now and out of the house and so on and so forth. And they still talk to each other like, my dad's remarried right now, and his still talks to my real mom once in a while.
Just shooting the shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're kosher with each other. Everything's fine. It wasn't a bad breakup or anything. They just weren't in love anymore. That's what happens.
Well,
and I think that, I'm not saying in my circumstance, but in general, you're talking about like, would it be better for people to be together? I think that people can break up, and then maybe that might make, I'm not saying this for me by any means, but that might make someone a better person because, like, you get to experience more. You go and do one thing over here. You go and do some, I don't know. I can't get to my original point that I was trying to make.
So like, for me, when my parents split up, I didn't see my dad for probably 7 years in my life, like in a row.
And that's a very different situation.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is my mom had another guy. He ended up being more of a father to me than my actual dad was. And so what I'm saying is, even if your parents do split up and then they do get into another relationship, and at that point you could technically have 4 parents, right? I mean, I guess it's endless at that point if they do end up getting divorced, but you still have 2 people. You have 2 people. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it a better structure for someone to grow up as a child into their adult stage having 2 people there, whether or not it's your biological parent or not? It has to be more beneficial to have a male figure and a female figure in your life.
I get that, but I feel like you usually end up with another figure. And Jesse, I'll let you go here in 1 second. I feel like you end up with another. Like, let's say your dad dips, right? Your dad dips out. He's out of the picture. And let's say your mom doesn't get a boyfriend, or she doesn't remarry or whatever. She just stays single. You're still going to find a father figure somewhere, hopefully a good one, but you're going to meet somebody that's going to end up being some kind of mentor or something to you. So you still get that, you know? And vice versa.
What do you got, Jay?
So what I was going to say is, it's not even so much like a male and female polar opposite that everybody needs as far as some shit. Like, you don't even, you're not somehow, you missed out on some shit because you had like 2 dads as your parental figures, or you had 2 moms as your parental figures. I think what it comes down to, whatever it comes to parents, is you need some, them to be different and to get different feels on shit from them and what their advice is. So one might give you some really good advice on some passive way to handle something, right? And then you might have a more aggressive, standout personality in that mix, whether or not it's like male or female. I just didn't want to like make it seem like
it has to be a mom and a dad.
You gotta have a mom and a dad kind of thing.
No, it can be 2 guys or 2 girls.
I really believe that you can have 2 females raise raise a kid and then 2 males raise a kid, I do think what's helpful is personalities having different roles to where one can be more comforting, another one can be more aggressive and that stand out. So that is that mother-father role that you were talking about, but it doesn't have to come down to sexuality so much.
I don't want to get into sexuality.
No,
at all.
I don't either. But if there are certain scenarios where it takes a more kind approach, and another scenario to where it does take you to fucking ball up, and then fucking, hey, I'm gonna fucking handle this shit,
but
and then fucking do it here.
You know how many friends I've had where, and this includes myself, where I'm not trying to get emotional in any way, shape, or form, but like when you grow up and then you are an adult from 18 to 25 and you have that in the back of your head that you never had a father that was there for you. You know, that shit affects you, whether you want to believe it or not. Like that, and that was just for me, and I know that happens for a lot of people. And if
didn't you say your mom did get remarried and you did have a
but still, like my biological, my mom saw different. Either way, what I'm saying, and I got lucky, I guess you could say, in that she found that person, but that's not the case for everyone, you know. And whether or not I'm just saying, a single parent home, like. Damn it! I lost my train of thought.
No,
to give you a little perspective on my shit. Both my parents are still together. I was raised by both my parents. They still love each other to this day. There were so many times where I wished I would have gotten some fatherly advice on some shit, but my dad played a weird role. He made sure that we had a house and that we were fed, and
so
he was never really. He was never an emotional support,
right?
If that makes any sense.
For sure.
He's not abusive. Like, he wouldn't yell at us or anything. My dad was. He came home. We cracked jokes. You know, he's very laughable, good guy. But when it came down to like serious shit, you never talked to my dad about serious shit. Like he was never there for serious emotional support. That was always on my mom's side. I always go to my mom for any kind of emotional. Hey, how do I handle this? Which is probably why I'm such a pussy now, like, to come down to it. But no, my dad never told me. He's like, hey, man, this is how you handle it as a man. I never got that. He's like, hey, we're going to go up back. We're going to throw this fucking football. I'm going to tackle the fuck out of you. And I never got that from my dad.
Would you rather
that's fine, though.
Would you rather have what you had with your father or no father at all?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So
no, of course I take my dad.
So
of course I take my dad.
You have small things, and
you can't have it all.
No, I know.
What does everybody want? Like a perfect structure?
No. We're all picky. We're all picky, but I think every person growing up deserves that, I guess. And is it an entitlement at that point? No, it's not. No one does get it all, and there are people out there who do suffer from divorces growing up, and it sucks.
You're getting to a weird point now where you're comparing things, though, and you're like, there's always someone out. You can't. There's always someone out there who's got it better than you, and there's always someone out there who's got it worse than you.
For sure.
100% of the time. That's what's going on.
I'm just saying, no, there's nothing. What's going on is there's something in society that's breaking us apart from the people that we love. And I'm not blaming it on society. There are internal things that happen within people's relationships that don't allow them to be together when they have children. I completely understand that. And I just think for you to have a divorce rate in a country where there are 300 million people plus, and for it to be over 50%, something is happening. Something's happening within.
Have we looked at the divorce rate compared to like 200 years ago, though? Or not 200? That's a little. Let's say 100 years ago. Are you sure it's not still around 50 fucking percent?
Regardless,
you couldn't get
it's
divorced
high.
back then.
You couldn't, exactly, due to religion and shit like that, but it's high.
So then you just had people cheating on each other left and right, and it was the same fucking.
You wouldn't do that either, because then you ruin your life. It literally, okay. You get a divorce now that doesn't ruin your life. It fucks with you financially, basically. You got to pay lawyers and shit, and there's some financial shit.
Prenup.
All this kid shit that happens. But, like, back then, you talk about you get a divorce, all of a sudden you're this downtrodden fucking piece of scum that, especially if you're a woman back then. Like,
yeah, that was a big thing. I'd say, pre-60s, basically.
So yeah.
I think the 60s was really the liberation of.
Yeah, so honestly, people are still alive from then. Like, you have to.
I guess I didn't think about it that way. It really started in the 60s.
The wave crashed. You have to let it recede back, into the ocean of fuckery. But But yeah, you have to let more time go because that's still so close to where divorce was so looked down upon as to where now it's completely, oh, you're getting a divorce now. Oh, cool beans, man. Cool beans, man. Cool. Everybody's like, hey, we celebrate. Honestly, you celebrate divorce the same way you celebrate marriage now, right? You go out and you fucking get drunk and you fucking party and like, hey, man, you're free now. Or, hey, man, it's really fucking great for you if you're getting fucking married. It's all the same shit. You gotta do it for you, not as.
Society's weird, man. It's really weird, right? Society and us interacting with each other as human beings.
It's the human experience.
Yeah, it is. But what makes us human? What makes us human in the aspect... I mean, we could go at it a lot of different ways in what makes us human.
If you really want to get down to the root and philosophy of a lot of things of what makes us human, you find a common ground of an emotion that only humans feel, which is called guilt. This is very...
Dolphins feel emotion.
They don't feel guilt, though.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Animals can feel sadness. They can feel loss.
Compassion and love.
Compassion, love. You see a lot of this. Human beings are actually the only recorded species on this planet that feel guilt.
It's true. Elephants go crazy, bro. And then dolphins probably eat other fish from other dolphins and don't fucking feel guilty about it.
They don't feel guilt for what they do.
I feel like if any animal was, though, I feel like... I don't see why guilt would be the only one, is what I'm saying. Like, out of all the emotions, like, I've seen, like, videos
this is the standout one.
I've seen videos of animals that get sad.
This is where a lot of religion comes from,
But I could
actually.
see a dolphin... That's weird, but, like, out of all the emotions, I don't understand... I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Why guilt? Because I'm trying to imagine a dolphin doing something to another dolphin, like stealing a fucking fish from him or something, and then feeling guilty afterwards. Why guilt? Out of all the emotions, why guilt?
Okay.
It's a good question. I like that.
I don't understand.
Okay.
Why is guilt so important?
I believe you. 100%.
It's important, though. It's important that we're the only species that feels guilt.
And actually, what's weird, whenever you think about it, okay, if we're the only species that feels guilt, it is a long-lasting feeling. Guilt is not something you do, and then a minute after you're done doing it, you're like, man, fuck, I shouldn't have done that shit, and you apologize. It is a lifelong thing. We all have those moments driving in our car before we go to bed, where we're in silence.
You're like, why did I do that?
To where we flash back to a fucking moment where we see our fuckery. We're like, fuck, man, why the fuck did I do that? I was a awful person, or man, that's really awkward, or all this. It is a learning fucking experience from all of us. It's a really tough emotion to deal with. It's such a cringy emotion. It's this cringy...
Honestly, it's probably one of the worst ones, though. I'm thinking about it right now. Like, guilt may be worse. Guilt may be worse than, like, sadness. Like, everybody's been sad. We've all been at a down point in our lives. Guilt might be a worse fucking feeling, because then you're on a sad level, but you're also... I guess guilty is the only word I can use here. But you're... I'm trying to not use a word in its own description. But, you're not just sad. You're, like, sad for the person that you may have wronged out of your guilt or whatever. It's like it doubles up on it almost.
Are you saying that guilt makes us human? Is that what makes us human?
I was going to say, if you were to get down to what separates us from everything else, like if you were to say we're all biological beings, which we are, but what really separates us is the knowledge of we've done wrong here, or man, I'm guilty here for doing this, and it changes us. It literally changes us because that feeling of guilt is so strong. Why would you ever go back and fucking do that again?
So what part of being human makes you feel that way?
I don't.
That's a weird one. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. That seemed a little bit of a paradox there.
Yeah, you're
in
right.
some way.
My bad. Continue. Sorry.
No, that's fine. But the feeling of, if you were to separate, because like what you were talking about, animals feel emotion, they feel sadness, they feel... And
animals still learn from their mistakes and shit, too.
Yeah, no,
like you're saying
that's how animals grow.
Guilt is a learning thing.
Guilt specifically is a social interaction thing. We never feel guilt from, oh, man, I ate fucking Taco Bell and I had raging fucking diarrhea. That's not where you get guilt from.
I'm upset about it, but I don't feel guilty.
You get upset about it. You get upset about it. Chances are you end up eating Taco Bell again.
Yes.
But guilt's that feeling to where, man, I was such a fucking dick here.
Yeah.
I was such a fucking dick, and it's so fucking cringy. Or, man, I was such an idiot here. I was such an idiot here. Why did I do this? And it's a learning thing. And it's so cringy whenever you fucking think about those moments in your life, but they've changed you to never do those moments again. You're like, yeah, that was that bad. You won't do that shit again. It's very social, interactive feeling.
But why are
as far as guilt?
Why are humans the special ones to only feel guilt?
I couldn't tell you.
I know.
Do you think
So
that's-
maybe our brain would have to be receptive to that feeling.
I didn't.
So our brains are able to receive
we-
this feeling of guilt.
Are we that special, Jesse? Humans? We're that special?
I
Within the
think-
Big Bang? Within the Big Bang Theory?
I mean, in
That we're
comparison
the
to
only
everything else
species
here
on this
Earth,
planet? We're the only species on the planet that feels guilt?
that feels guilt. Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't think about it. The fact that you brought it, guilt's the only thing that separates us. Makes me like. Do you think that maybe that's the one thing that distinguishes like sociopaths?
Well, because sociopaths,
Because
don't
sociopaths
have
don't feel-
empathy. They don't have sympathy,
No, but
which
they
is a
could
very guilt.
hold up. But they could have some. They're able to they'll have compassion or understanding and stuff, which is a part of sympathy and
They're
empathy and all that.
manipulative.
But I never thought about it until you said the whole guilt thing. Like, I bet they don't feel guilt for anything,
It's true.
which would
If-
cause
if-
them to be different from your average human being.
So
If any healthy human being were to like me and you, in a moment of just absolute, we'd give over to our fucking emotions, we kill somebody, we'd probably fucking feel sick to our stomach for the rest of our fucking lives
Yeah.
thinking about that moment. That's guilt. That's what guilt is. Those people are free without guilt. Without guilt, you are a tiger hunting an animal that's, and just killing an animal. They don't
But
feel guilt for
without-
killing that animal.
without-
That's just what they need to do.
without law,
Even though in our mind, right, we need to kill this person. Weird beings but that's and law has created it. This is a very, very complex subject we're getting into, which
It
I
is,
can't even
because
put a
without
drop in the fucking bucket whenever it comes to this topic.
It's true, because
we're getting
before
into.
civilized civilizations, and if you killed someone else, you completely got away with it, whether or not they felt guilt or not. I mean, it may have been barbaric at that time. I don't know.
There's still probably guilt there, though.
There has to be, but maybe not. You're right. Maybe there is. Maybe
And
there
guilt,
isn't. Who knows?
guilt is never something that you just are like, hey man, I fucking feel guilty about this. Guilt is literally you can't help it. You just fucking feel it. You can lie about it. But it's always within you. It's so deep within you. You can't avoid
Right.
it.
And now that
it's
we're
always there.
Now that we're talking about, it, I'm sure you can think of 5 things that you feel guilt about.
Oh, dude,
I
fucking
can think of
100
things I feel guilty about
100
right
things.
now.
Yeah, same.
You know how many bad things I've done?
Right.
I have not been the best person throughout my entire life.
Same.
I really haven't. I've done a lot of fucking shitty shit.
But it
in my
changes.
life that
It
I'm
changes how you
regretful
do
about.
things now, though, too.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. It develops you in the end if you're able to learn from it.
What else?
And then
What else makes you human? I like it, man. Guilt.
Just,
that's a big one. Johnny, you got anything?
On a mental level? I mean, just our capacity for information, that we can house information and retain it quicker and understand more things, and
I mean, there's
That's
computers that are quicker
smart.
than humans.
Yeah, that's
So
very
you can't-
true. But a computer is not ultra human. You would never call a computer ultra human.
Humans. Or sorry. Go. Do you have any?
No, I mean he hit it pretty much on
He did.
nail on the head with the fucking guilt thing.
20 minutes.
We got 20 minutes. It'll only take me 5 minutes.
Do not fall, man.
2 legs broken.
I would feel guilty if that happened.
I would not feel no.
No, he did. He really hit it on the head, I think.
I never thought about that before.
I didn't
honest to
either.
God, until he just said it. I'd like to see that.
If there's-
Research is the wrong. Yeah, no research. I'm gonna go
there's
with
any
research.
other animals.
I'd like to see that research because I do know that dolphins super fucking smart. Pigs are real smart actually. Monkeys obviously to a degree, but I'm mostly gonna go with dolphins and pigs here.
Right.
But I could just I'm trying to imagine in my head a dolphin fucking stealing a fish from another dolphin or something. How do we prove that they don't feel guilt? Because guilt's not something that you can always witness. You could feel guilty about something right now,
but
and
no one would ever know it.
I would never know, but I
Yeah.
can see sadness in your face, or I can see compassion when if something happens and God forbid a friend of yours dies, I can see the sadness and I can see the compassion and understanding. There was something that I'm not going to bring it up. There was something we were talking about before the podcast that I can see compassion and understanding that you care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But guilt you can't see. So how do you measure that for animals?
It's true. I don't know if it's even measurable. Is the dolphin 5 years later going to think, fuck, man, I stole that?
I shouldn't have stole that fucking fish.
I mean, they can distinguish who their mom is because the male dolphin will follow his mom for a very long time.
Oh, my eyes hurt so bad.
You're right. There could be a
That's
time.
what I'm saying. Like, how do you distinguish that or prove that? Like, you can fucking animals cry. Like, you can see an animal cry. You can see a dog lay its head on, the body of another dead dog. This is getting real dark. I'm not trying to get this dark with it, but or like on a lighter side, being happy and wagging their tail and all that. So I don't see why, but you can't see guilt. I could see a dolphin feeling guilty for something, and you would never know as an outside observer.
Yeah, I mean, for as smart as they are, I think it's extremely possible.
Eh.
Is there anything else that would strike you
That makes us inhuman?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm trying to think as well.
I can't think of anything.
I think the complexity. I know the complexity of all their organisms that are involved on this earth, all of their animals and stuff. It's the same.
So let me say, what makes you human in the sense of, I'm going to ask you the question now. Let's say that right now they make a fucking, what do you call it? What's the robot that would look like people? An android.
Mm-hmm.
They make an android. They make a robot right now that's got fucking flesh, whatever. It's a fake human being, basically. And they make a computer for the brain that is smart enough to process the emotions that we process and understand and whatnot. Does it get to the point then where, like, are they human? Do they have rights? What separates them from us, kind of thing? Which lots of movies and books have covered this topic in the past. This is nothing fucking new.
Would I feel sympathy for a robot at that point if they looked identical to a human being
and felt the same as human beings
I mean,
feel?
I don't think that they could ever feel the way that we feel.
That's, I mean,
you know, and I could be wrong. Maybe the scientists are so super smart that they're able to, change that, and they are able to feel certain things. But I think that our body is extremely complex in the fact that nerves. Jesse, you can speak to this. You just had surgery. What they were able to do is inject you in a specific spot where they were able to completely numb the lower portion of your leg.
That's even something basic, though. You could make nerves and all that for.
But if a android at that point looked exactly like a human being, and for some reason they got in an accident or in a gunfight or something like that, and their leg got completely cut in half, what do they feel? Do they feel? I mean, like
what if? I mean, you could put something in them to program the.
Sure, that's fine.
To feel pain.
That's fine.
I think it comes down to you could even program them to feel guilt, but at the end of the day, it's programming. So do they actually?
So have we been programmed to feel guilt?
Could you imagine trying to program guilt into something?
So an android does something that.
Well, you would first of all have to tell them what to feel guilty for.
Exactly,
Hold on.
and there's
So
so many. You can feel guilty for things that you don't even.
What's the movie with the little kid where he's a robot and he's in a family and he thinks he's the actual kid? It's the same.
I think it's just called AI.
Yes, it's called AI.
I have not seen that.
You know what
one.
I'm talking about?
I haven't seen it, but I know what he's talking about. It's just called AI.
It's an old movie, and it's the kid that's in the movie.
If you're looking for I haven't seen AI, so I can't go off that. But if
it's
you're
got
looking,
the kid from
you guys-
fucking
Bruce Willis,
yeah, the
little
fucking
dude.
God damn it.
He's always in movies with Bruce Willis.
The Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
Yes,
The Sixth Sense.
Yeah. Will you guys watch that movie and then tell me?
I'll watch AI.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
because I feel like he's an AI. He's a little boy and he thinks he's a little boy. Maybe he feels guilt in that movie. Maybe not.
I mean, honestly, there's old movies have done that. One of the best ones. I don't know if Blade Runner. That's literally what that movie is about. Is they're called replicants or whatever, and they're the same. The whole premise of Blade Runner and the newer one that came out with Ryan Gosling, the Blade Runner 2049 or whatever, is that what's the difference? What's the difference between the two? They feel all the emotions that humans feel.
They'll never be able to do that.
I'm saying in the movie.
Right.
In the movie, the whole point is it's a hypothetical
For
question,
sure.
basically.
Wait, you've seen technology progress now. How are you able to ever say that
we
anything's
could
impossible?
get to that point.
I would never understand that now.
Because-
seeing how much everything is.
So
give me the most outlandish idea you can think of
Exactly.
right now. I'd
So
be
it-
like, yeah, it's probably fucking possible in
so
100 years.
What makes us human is how complex our body is. If you were to cut your arm off right now, Jesse, completely cut your arm off in half, and I were to look at it and take a picture of it with my phone and super focus and look at what is just involved in your arm.
Phones that
Human
stay
anatomy.
phones
Human
that stay
anatomy.
charged longer than a couple of days.
For sure, and that's just your arm. The amount of veins that you have, the intestine. I mean, the list of the amount of body parts in your body. And I know it takes a lot to build an android.
That can all
or
be
whatever.
replicated though.
And
That'd be the easier part.
no, I don't think so. Not at all.
The nerves and every single vein in your body and all that would just take time. Emotions and everything would be like the
Yeah,
problem.
the difficult part.
For sure,
Fucking
cognitive-
replicating fucking you could take there could be a trillion nerves and all it would take is time and people and manpower and you could do that. Fucking programming emotions, programming someone to feel guilt for the smallest tiny things like, oh shit, I left the goddamn door open to
What
that
ab-
person's room. I shouldn't have left the fucking door open.
What about the eyes?
Tiny little things like that.
What
you
about
can't,
the eyes?
Yeah, you can recreate the eye.
No, not a chance. They don't
Why?
know how the iris works.
Easy.
But
Easy.
eventually we
Eventually
might.
we will.
Eventually we might. That's not
To say that
You're-
we'll
okay,
never.
anything
it's
on a-
not some complete.
anything on a biological level. Those would be the easy parts to recreate.
Okay.
I'm talking about on neurons firing emotions.
like
Emotions
that.
would be the issue.
Emotions, cognitive realization.
I mean, cognitive ability and like that part would be easier too. That's just computing and understanding things and taking in what's
Okay.
around you.
Okay. So like thoughts, dreams. Would robots
Yeah,
dream?
That's literally a book. Do androids dream of electric sheep? I think that's what it's called.
That sounds really fucking familiar, actually. That is a thing.
Do androids? It's by Philip K. Dick. I'm pretty sure
So
if I
at
got
that
it right.
point, would androids be susceptible to
But
disease?
but the whole point is,
would they get disease?
does an android, if an android has a dream about sheep jumping over its head, does it dream of real sheep or electric sheep? Does it dream about other android sheep instead of real ones? And anyways, that's
No, that's trippy, bro.
beside the fucking point.
You're talking about something that has a computing process to so be far ahead of everything that
AI. Yeah,
that it surpasses what being human is. Because
Right.
being human is having flaws.
right.
Let's all just go ahead and agree. Being human is
Yeah,
not
I
being
mean, I'm
perfect.
sure animals have flaws too.
If there was a
Yeah.
perfect human being, if there
Animals
was a
have flaws,
perfect
too.
human being, would it be a human being?
I'm not talking about being perfect. Our body is perfect in essence on how it works and how we're able to interact with each other. It's perfect in that sense. It's not perfect in the sense of being perfect.
That
There's
made no
so
sense.
many flaws in genetics and everything.
I think
If
what
there
I think
was
what
a
Paul's
perfect-
saying is that overall it's perfect in, like from person to person. No, it's
Why?
not perfect.
Because we
Right.
survived and the population keeps going up. So this is,
Yes,
like
human
perfect,
beings are-
perfect in what way?
In perfect in the fact that we're here, we're able to live. We lived for so long. We're perfect in the sense of the human being has been here for a very long time. We're able to think. We're able to do things that other animals can't do. We're able to build buildings. We've done so much fucking shit.
I mean,
over
going
the
by
past-
that logic, animals are able to do stuff that we can't do. Ants are way stronger than us. There's shit. Jumping spiders can jump way more higher than we can jump. There's so much there.
Oh, fuck that, bro.
No, I'm just going off.
Jump,
Of
no, jumping spiders can't create the Eiffel Tower.
You're right. Everybody's got different goddamn talents, don't they?
Yes, they do. But I'm in
You
perspective.
say we can't do stuff that animals can't do. Animals can do a lot of shit
I'm
that we
saying
can't do, bro.
in relevance to.
You ever seen a seal balance a ball on its nose? I can't do that shit.
I respect that. I'm saying in relevance to what the impact we have on Earth. Sorry. And I know maybe it's not necessarily a good one with the amount of pollution and shit like that, but with the structures, the ancient structures, the structures we're building now, I think it's phenomenal. I think just our interactions with each other and what we've accomplished now, the human body may be close to perfect, in my opinion.
Have you seen my body?
I'm saying the way it works, how blood flows through your body, Jesse, how your eyes see, how your mind thinks.
Yo, your doctor said you got that solid liver, though.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying like you individually, Jesse, you're nowhere near perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect, but our bodies are damn near perfect, bro. I
So
can
is
sit
that
here-
what it's meant to be as human, is to be imperfect? There's a lot of range there whenever you say imperfect, but we can't be perfect. Once you're perfect, you're no longer a human being.
I'm not saying me. I'm saying the human.
You're trying to say us as a species.
Yes.
But we
Yes.
always evolve too. So perfect. Okay, honestly, anything where you're doing what's it called? Not an ultimatum, but where you're saying all the way one way. Absolutes. You should never do absolutes. We're never perfect, and we're never at the opposite end where we're completely unperfect. Nothing's ever 100% or 0%. That's a terrible way to look at things because then there's no room for an improvement and there's no room for going down.
Okay.
And what's the point of it if there isn't any of that? Because that's kind of what life is that journey of that,
But you don't
of
have
being somewhere in the middle and then going one way or the other.
But we don't have to worry about the blood flow in our body.
What do you mean we don't have to worry about it?
I'm just saying, like, you live how many...
You don't have to think, oh, I need to sit here and make sure I'm thinking about my heart beating because
Yeah,
to make it
yeah.
beat.
Fucking donkeys don't have to do that either.
No,
so
that's
that has
true.
nothing to do with humanity.
I know. I think it's just weird, man. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's weird. I don't know.
I still don't think. I mean, everybody's got their own view. I don't think the biological part of it is difficult at all. I really don't. That's what you keep bringing up. You're talking about like our blood flow and all this different stuff, and you talked about nerves and neurons and so
But
on.
what do
and
you
so
know
forth.
about blood flow, Johnny?
I don't know a lot. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying that out of everything, the
What-
biological part, as far as science is
What do
concerned,
you need to know about blood flow?
I feel like the biological
I
part
got you on all that.
is the. I'm not saying it's simple, but out of everything, I think it's the simplest part. I think that emotions would be the most difficult thing to grasp.
That's why I talked about
humanity.
guilt. Why would you ever need guilt?
Emotions aren't. Yeah, you can't. Well,
Anything involving
no,
the
anything.
brain.
No, I think you need guilt because it helps you learn. Anything that helps you learn and process.
On a social level, but as far as a survival level, no.
Let's see. Let's see. What can you learn survival level wise? You learn like you eat a bad berry and then it makes you sick. You learn.
So you don't do
You
that
don't
again.
feel-
That's not guilt.
That's
You don't
not
feel
guilt.
guilt
You don't feel
from that.
guilty because that doesn't affect someone else, unless you're feeling guilty for yourself.
Guilt's all on a social level.
Yeah, but it's a social thing to want to survive.
So
too.
maybe we need each other.
We need to hit up Jordan Peterson and ask him
humans-
his feelings
humans-
on guilt.
humans
maybe
are-
maybe we need each other. Throughout, no one person can ever do it, and it takes all of us to be able to get this
I
thing
mean,
done.
humans, we're social creatures. You don't want to feel guilty. You want to be. Everybody wants to be liked. Nobody's like, man, I hope everyone fucking hates me.
I mean, I've seen some shows where I'm like, man, you're probably wanting everybody to hate you right now.
I think Jesse, you hit it the hardest, bro. And what makes us human, with guilt. I would like to think that there might be something else that makes us human.
I mean, that's just one thing that defines us. That is what it is to be human in comparison to everything else. Like we only have what we know on a mental level. Like all creatures do the same shit. They eat, fuck, and territorial, and fucking make babies and shit. That's what we're doing too. So there's what you're talking about is what separates us from that group, even though we're still doing that same shit.
Right.
But we're still doing different shit. And
Well,
and why we have this, why are we fucking able to communicate the way that we fucking communicate? It's maybe necessary to our survival. If everybody spoke a different language tomorrow, dude, it'd be over. It'd be done.
No, I don't agree with that.
It'd be done. If
No,
nobody
Yeah,
was
that
able to
causes
communicate,
language barriers cause a huge fucking
it'd
issue.
be over.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's whole in the Bible. They got the thing about like the Tower of Babel,
Babel,
or whatever
yeah.
it is, and all the yeah.
But we came back
That's
from it. We
huge
came back from
bullshit.
it, though. We
But-
came back from it.
We
we
did,
came
but
back
it-
from the
but-
Tower of Babel.
But it caused disruption.
For sure, it's going to cause disruption, just like anything else would. It probably wasn't fun.
I still so at the besides not guilt specifically, but I think what makes us human is emotions. And yes, animals can have emotions too. But I think
not as many.
exactly. So ignoring, I'm not going to say guilt individually. That was a really good one. But after talking about all this, I would say emotions. Deep understanding of emotions and all that is what makes us human, because anything can fucking you poke me with a pin and I can feel pain. That's just an electric signal from my nerve.
Right.
Like
And I was trying to think of other things, like maybe what we've built, right? What we've built. But ants.
ants build shit.
Yeah, fucking...
That's what we built
Bees.
is nothing.
No, nothing. Like, dude, like, I'm literally... I'm sitting in my room today, or in my living room today, and Carrie's like, what's this on the door? What is this? And I'm like, what do you mean? So I get up, I look at the screen door. It's a glass screen door. And I look close, and it's like honeycombs, right? Or sorry, circles. Like super small circles. like there was 3, 6, 9. There was 12 circles on our glass, and then there was just like it looked like ticks surrounding the 9 circles. It looked like a honeycomb, right? Like for bees and shit, but it was on like our glass window. And it was like symmetrical. It was perfect. The circles were perfect. And then there was just ticks surrounding it, man, on our glass window. But like just the circles, like the honeycomb, it was just perfect.
Okay, so bees and everything. There's tons of stuff that builds. I didn't think about it until you were just talking about that right now. Art. Are there any animals? Is there anything that does any type of... The Mona Lisa serves no purpose other than striking emotions in the viewer of the person who is looking at the Mona Lisa.
Do animals
It's
create things for other people?
Do they
No.
do something creative? And I don't mean creative. Honeycombs are creative, but they serve a fucking purpose, a structural purpose. The only purpose that art forms. Jackson Pollock throwing shit onto a
I
canvas.
love Jackson Pollock. I made a reference when we were at the casino. That motherfucker had a Jackson Pollock fucking shirt.
T-shirt.
That's
Yeah, I
the
remember
last
that.
time
No,
I referenced
That doesn't
Jackson
serve a
Pollock.
purpose, though? You don't think
No,
art doesn't?
No, listen, it serves a purpose, but the purpose is an emotional purpose. A honeycomb is not an emotional purpose. An anthill is not an emotional purpose. That is a structural thing to get shit done. So is there any animal that creates art? Music.
Animals create music all the time. They're like birds sing.
That's communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like music to us, but that is communication for them. I'm saying we don't create music to... I mean, some people
You're
might.
talking about like for enjoyment.
Exactly, for entertainment.
Music can also be a form of communication too.
It can be, but that's not what I'm... What I'm saying is, is that what makes us
animals,
humans?
Animals can feel pleasure, maybe.
They can, but do they do...
They don't act out in
There's
the ways
there's
that
certain
we've
things that
acted
they
out.
probably do for entertainment, but what I'm saying is, I don't know. Creativity, art and music, and when I say art, I don't mean art as in a painting.
Hand me the fucking Woodford. This is getting off on a weird fucking level.
Am I making
just
sense
need-
there, though?
You
Do you get what I
are,
do you
100%.
get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
like,
do.
when I say
I
art,
get
I
what
don't
you- I get what you're
mean
saying.
I don't mean a painting. I mean anything creative that the sole purpose is to strike an emotional response in another person.
But you're right. That's what makes us human, because we are able to absorb that and
You literally
get an
you
emotional
make
response.
art, or you make a music track, or you do
Or-
a freestyle beat because you're striking.
But hold on. Emotionally, that bird that hears that other bird chirping, communicating with him, might emotionally be struck by the way that they tweet or chirp. Would that be similar, or is that just how
I still
they
think
are?
that the purpose is the reason that they're doing it, though, is the communication.
But could that bird emotionally feel different?
It could. I don't know.
But I see where you're coming from.
You know what I'm saying, though, when I'm talking about art, though.
There's not an ant that walks by and says, "Damn, that fucking mountain looks good."
I mean, there could be an ant that's like, wow, they did a really good job making that mound. I wish that our queen had done a better job of making the fucking mound where I fucking live.
Right.
Because this place sucks.
What if it's not that much different at all, and we don't even fucking
I'm
realize
just trying
it?
to think of an animal that does anything even...
So you look at like an ant is very much communal in their interaction with the hive.
What if this planet's just the hive and we're all just keeping it alive and there's all this other shit? What if it's really not that much fucking different? Because, I mean, what's been our sole purpose throughout this whole fucking... I mean, you have awful shit happening, fucking great shit happening. Guess what? We're still around, right? We can still trace our ancestors back. Yeah, technology's gotten better, but the DNA from way back when is still here.
Yeah.
So the general purpose of any organism is to perpetuate the organism. We've fucking done that. We've done it. Maybe it's not so much that our genetics fucking cares how we get there. Because if our genetics cared how we got there, our genetics maybe doesn't have morality. The genetics is just like, hey, man, we need to make sure we keep fucking... People keep fucking and more people keep happening.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our big problem, is that we've...
Just quit fucking. Everyone just doesn't fuck anymore.
Good luck with that. That's the only reason why we live.
Could you imagine if that happened? No one had
I mean,
sex
like,
anymore.
think about it. I mean, that's the biggest motivator for fucking anything. Anything is just
You
fucking,
think
man.
Jesus Christ would appear at that time? If
If
everyone,
everybody quit fucking, everybody gave
Why
up.
would he come here? He'd be like, man, I can't fuck anybody.
There'd be this whole huge uproar of, oh, it's the end of the world. Have you ever seen that movie
chick who's
Children of Men?
yeah, that movie's good with the last
It's a
baby.
really, really fucking good movie, man.
Yeah.
With,
Like what would
Clive
happen?
Owen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great fucking movie. If all of a sudden
women weren't fertile anymore.
Yeah, and then there were going to be no more human beings. Like, how would we act?
I'm
it
saying
it would be
every
that.
species just stops having sex. That would be crazy.
I mean, the world would die off.
And,
Yeah.
and it'd be weird to see us be in such turmoil.
How do you
over
even?
the
I don't think that movie even covered it right. Now that I didn't think about it till right now. Now that we're talking about it, but society would break down in such a way that if every single person knows that it's the end of your species in come another. You know what? No, never mind. They did react the right way because I remember the beginning of that movie. Now they had the world's youngest person died, and that person was like a celebrity to them in the movie because he was the most recent baby born, and then he died at like age 18 or 20 or whatever it was, and everybody was so sad. Like people were like crying and so on and so forth because that's how big of a deal it was that the world's youngest person was dead. So they're another step closer to being extinct as a species, basically.
coming from that aspect, it'd be like, what was the purpose of me if nothing else goes on after me? If all of a sudden it's just in a the biological fucking darkness, my genes aren't passed on, none of my family's genes are passed on, even to the point of humanity, none of their genes are even passed on. Everything was pointless. All this war, all this heartache, all this pain was pointless. You know, we'll probably end up finding out is probably all of it was fucking pointless.
It all is, man.
Hold on. So I know I've asked you this question on the podcast before, both of you. You guys both believe in the Big Bang Theory, correct?
Yes, very much so.
I believe that it's the most accurate.
Isn't it?
No, I'm gonna go a step further and be like, yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, isn't it magical? In a
It's
sense,
beautiful. No, it is beautiful.
But isn't it? It's basically based on magic.
No.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
No.
what you're talking
That's
about is the
magic,
same
bro.
thing as spirituality and a non-understanding of what's actually grasping of what you can actually grasp and understand.
Magnets
So you
are magic until you understand how
How
magnets
magnets
work.
So what you're saying is the Big Bang is fucking magic up until you're
no
like,
one
yeah,
understands
man.
the Big Bang.
Everybody
bro.
knows what
Exactly,
happens
but
on the other side
eventually
of the fucking
people
Big
will
Bang.
if it's a thing.
That's
And then
that's magic.
No, it's called
No,
science.
no.
it's magic.
Science-
Paul,
science is
No,
magic.
seriously,
Okay,
that's bad
100
logic.
years
if you
ago-
go by that logic, then
100
magnets
years
are
ago,
magic.
it's magic.
No,
100
if you
years
go
ago,
by
it's
that
magic.
logic,
huh?
100 years ago, it's magic. Today, it's theory. 100 years from now, it's fact. And then everybody's wondering what is the next thing that we need to get down and truly understand.
I'm just saying if you
That's-
go by something you not knowing how it works, calling that magic is just terrible fucking logic. And I'm just
No.
going to go with the No.
That's why they
if
burn
you
witches
don't-
and shit, man.
If you don't know why magnets work, then magnets are fucking magic. You pick up a rock and
We're
you're like,
talking-
holy
well,
shit,
I'm not-
this sticks to other
I'm
rocks.
not talking about magnets, Johnny. I'm talking about the creation of our universe.
It's the same.
It's the same
it's
shit.
The same
It's all the
principle.
same shit.
Yes,
No, it's
no,
not.
it
All the
is.
fundamental elements come out of the same shit. So you'd be
You
able to
have no idea, bro. You believe the universe is 14 billion years old, but somehow we
Paul,
cracked the
you're-
code. We
you're
cracked the
not
code, and you guys
comparing-
believe it. That's bullshit, man. That's magic.
No,
14
that's
billion
not
years
magic.
of 14 billion years of existence, and you guys have the answer.
No, I
Based
don't
on-
have the answer. That's
Based
why
on
it's a
50
theory.
based on 50 years of research, because now we have technology and we know what it is.
It's a theory, and we don't know what it is. It's a theory.
But you guys believe it to be true, especially Jesse, is what I'm saying. And how is that not magic? That's
It's
all
not.
I'm saying.
Are magnets magic? Are they magic, Paul?
The Earth is magnetic, so no, I'm not going to say it's
Because
magnet.
we've learned that it's magnetic.
Correct.
We have learned something. We
Correct.
educated ourselves as a species.
Correct.
And figured out scientifically
We were
how
able-
something works.
Right, and we were
in
able-
the future, we will scientifically prove and figure out how something works, such as
I agree.
the Big Bang.
I agree with that. 100%.
We're
Therefore,
very
it's
much
not
confident.
magic. It's just not to our understanding currently.
We are really confident. We are extremely confident in the way that wavelengths work. We have a really good grasp on wavelengths. As far as the shortening and lengthening of wavelengths, we see it in color, we see it in sound. It is a very common thing that happens throughout multiple sources of energy, if not all energy. There are wavelengths behind them. Whenever you test these wavelengths and then all of a sudden see that there is a lengthening of wavelengths from everything that's away from you, and that the wavelengths from those things are also lengthening wavelengths to them.
How are they
You've said
observing
You get
lengths and
this-
waves so many times, I have lost track. of
How
what
many?
you're-
How are they observing this?
Through various studies of light and measurement and study of it. I'm not a good person to talk about the specifics. I haven't gone to school for 10 years
For sure.
to be an astrologist.
What I'm saying is I'm not going to pretend to believe in something that I have
Or
no
wait,
idea
is that
what
the wrong one?
what the fuck what it is. I'm not going to go as far to say that I believe the Big Bang Theory is true.
People believe in the Bible every day.
And that's okay, then that's fine. That's cool.
But whenever
And
you-
I'm not and I've asked questions about the Bible, and that's why I always
You should ask
questions.
questions about everything.
I do.
I ask questions
I
about
do.
the big. That's my point.
I do
I don't
100%.
necessarily believe in it. I think that right now, due to all the research, it is the most likely candidate.
What research, Johnny? What research have you looked at?
What do you mean? What research have I looked at personally?
What research leads you to believe that this is most likely
Okay.
the case?
okay, a
You
car.
listen to other people say, yeah, this is most likely the case.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what everything
This-
is.
the same-
Everything is fucking through the grapevine
So
from
what I-
everybody else.
and
It's
I-
always 6 degrees of fucking Kevin Bacon.
And I'm a firm believer of this and a big believer now in my life to where I would rather, I'm not saying everything's false and everything's just imaginary. I'm legitimately saying, like, if I'm going to believe in something, I'm going to seek out the correct information
Paul,
to see that it's true.
I love the fact that you always seek out other, like, there's nothing, you should always try to learn more constantly. You should always try
Right.
to educate yourself more. You should constantly be, curiosity is fucking key. Everybody should be curious all the time. Damn. But so many times we've gotten to conversations outside about different fucking stuff that I'm not going to bring up on the podcast about fucking flat earth and all these other crazy things that we've gotten to conversations about. And my biggest issue is that you always want to, your arguments are always straw man fucking arguments where you bring up something that has nothing to do with whatever, or you don't see the basic logic behind, I don't know. I don't know how to word it
I could
right
say
now.
the same thing towards you. I mean, logic would have you believe a lot of things, and you're not willing to go with logic.
I am
See,
willing to go with logic. Logic is
you-
honestly the
you-
most accurate fucking depiction of anything
right
that there is in science.
and I would disagree.
How did the universe come about, Paul?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
Do you have a theory? Do you have a theory?
I don't have the time to create a theory or even think of one. There are people out there who do have that time and have the money to create theories and propagate it towards the masses because that's what they have
It's
time to
propagated?
do. Yes, 100% is propagated.
Okay.
So, no, I don't have a theory of how we're here. I like to believe that there is a creator because of
Why? Why do you like to believe there's a creator, though? That's a fucking theory.
very true.
That's a theory. So
Very-
you do have a theory. You would like to believe there's a creator.
hold on.
You
hold
don't
on,
know.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
You don't know,
Well,
but
I-
you would like to believe.
Within living my own life, I've been able to live here for 30 years, and there have been times where I've had supernatural experiences within this realm that we are involved with.
So you think you've had supernatural experiences?
No, I know I have. Okay, I am myself. I know what I feel and what I do and what I'm involved with.
Okay.
And I've actually prayed to this higher being. I'm not going to say it's God or Jesus or anything like that.
Wow, you got the right one.
Okay, and I've
It's
prayed
crazy.
and I've prayed to something or whatever it is, and have they answered me? Yes.
Okay.
In some sort of fashion. So at that point, yes, I do have evidence towards myself. Can I prove that evidence? No. If I sit here and tell you that I was in the shower maybe a month or two ago, I prayed to God the night before to give me a sign that he is real, and I'm in the shower and something that I can't explain happened in the shower.
The soap falls off or
no,
whatever.
No, not even that. No, something more crazy than that. I'm not going to sit here and go into detail about
No,
it
that's
because I
fine.
can't explain it. You guys aren't going to believe me.
That's fine.
But
That's
within
fine.
myself, that's my own evidence because I've lived a clear life for 30 years, and this instance in the bathroom that happened. There's
And
no other
that's-
explanation for it other than the fact that I prayed to God the night before. So there's my evidence. That's my evidence.
I mean, there's always explanation for everything.
that's
no,
a
there's
weird
no
way to talk about
explanation for this
evidence.
because this has never happened to me in the shower before in
But
my
the-
whole life of 30 years. There's no explanation.
But
I mean, I don't know
At
what
all.
it is, but there
I'm-
can be coincidence.
Okay.
There
I'm,
can
there's
be-
not even
I'm going to
coincidence.
explain to you what the word evidence means. Evidence is a showing of proof. Evidence is a showing of proof. You can't use this is evidence of anything whenever it happened on a personal level.
I'm using it for myself. I'm not using it for the explanation of humankind.
Okay, so you don't have anything to argue anything with. This was which there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Right.
Dude, everything's so fucking up in the air, fucking coin flip.
We're all humans, man. We're all human beings, and I don't think
I
anyone's
could be
ever cracked the
complete-
code. I'm sorry.
I could be
just don't.
completely wrong of believing in modern
Paul, we're not-
science.
here's
I
the
could be
thing I don't get.
completely because you know me. I'm very heavy in modern science. I really like modern science. I think we've done great things with modern science. I think there's some evidence there that's actually tangible that could work with modern science. But
But you read it, you don't refute it. You believe it to be true because that's what you were told your whole life. And when someone crazy comes out and says that they've been doing the same amount of research that these people have been doing, they're fucking crazy.
They never show the fucking research,
but you're not
though.
even willing to listen to it because
I will listen to them.
What-
They never show the
How have
goddamn
I been-
research, though,
how
Paul.
have I been pulled in a wrong direction from believing modern science? Because they never tell me a political view. They never tell me how to spend my money, which is a really good start, by the way. Whenever somebody tells you, hey, I don't want your money, all I want you to do is listen to how I believe things are.
Do you know where your tax money goes to? NASA. It also goes to Elon Musk because he's privately funded. So your money is going to them.
Wait, hold up. My
So
tax
that-
money goes to Elon Musk.
And not the
He gets
politicians
grants,
who are
he gets grants
raving,
from governments, yes.
not like raving people. So it's the scientists who are raving people.
They are getting money from you just like everyone else is what I'm saying.
And doing
I'm
better
fine-
things
I'm fine
with it than most
funding-
politicians.
I'm fine with funding scientists.
Yeah.
I'm fine with funding scientists. If they're doing a little shady shit on the side, get a little 8-ball of coke.
Yo,
from
get
Raul.
your get your
down the
fucking
street. Go-
hookers.
go
Just
fucking do
also
it.
try to figure out if there's shit on Mars.
I want to know what antimatter is. Explain that shit to me, because there's like you can't explain 90% of the matter in the fucking universe, and we can't even fucking touch it.
I'm pretty
So much shit. The observable shit. The observable fucking shit, to where whenever you observe a molecule moving, you've already changed it from observing it. Doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm talking about?
That's like string theory
It's
and
very-
M13
I mean-
and chaos theory and shit. That's
No, but it's very fucking true. It's like whenever you observe it, you've now changed the outcome because you're observing it. That's very. These aren't just nobody benefits from that shit. No government officials making money. You're not making money. They're not making money. They're like, hey man, I'm sorry.
this
What
is
I'm
just how
seeing-
things are.
What I'm seeing is fucking insane right now. Fucking Albert Einstein was saying, hey man, shit doesn't make sense. This shit's fucking crazy as fuck. I believe those motherfuckers. They weren't out for anybody's money
You didn't know them. How are you going to believe someone you don't
There's-
know?
because they weren't in my face telling me where to put my money and where to fucking vote.
Who's in your face and telling you
They're
where to
not-
spend your money, Jesse?
They're very
who's
much
who's
fucking
doing that? Who's doing that?
They're not. They were individuals on search of one thing. They were learning one thing. Spent years of their life dedicated to learning molecular fucking theory or whatever. They wanted to know what something they can't even see with their own eye, fucking how it fucking worked. They worked on that shit, and they were like, "Man, this shit's fucking crazy as fuck." And now we're like, "Oh man, this individual's corrupt," and they're telling us that, man, some shit's fucking no. They weren't out for our money.
Did you know that
They died with they died with what? Like what? They were nobody even knows their names. Nobody even knows for fame. Did they die for fame? Did they die for fucking money? What did they die for, man? As far as a human aspect,
right?
what was the purpose of all their fucking research? Was to just, oh man, this is a big joke. I'm gonna spend my entire life making up some shit, and I'm gonna die. And then
People
they're gonna
get-
fucking eventually fucking refute me
People
because
get-
I fucking looked at the stars and tried to calculate everything and show that the universe was infinitely expanding up until the point where it collapsed on itself.
So
Whatever the gravitational fucking force
So you're-
wasn't close enough to the fucking planet.
Joke's on you. I knew it was all made of cheese all
Fucking
along.
Smash. And then we don't know where black holes came from. But you know what? I'm poor at home with a divorced wife because I spent so much time in my laboratory. And then you know what?
So there's a
It was
person.
all
There's,
fucking-
so there's one
It was
person.
all because
There's one person.
you know to fuck you guys over.
There's one person who he did so many calculations that he knows that it's ever expanding the
You
universe.
think it's
That's
some
14 billion years
conspiracy
old.
What do you mean? No, that's the whole
That's
point. Is that-
absolutely
conspiracy
crazy.
theory.
That's the whole
crazy.
point. Is that there's not one person. It's a multitude of fucking people. That's why science is great. Is because there's people fucking going back and forth constantly
Everybody wants to
learning
tell their
things.
colleagues that they're wrong. Everybody wants to tell
Yeah.
their colleagues they're wrong. Fuck, man.
And honestly, they want to be disproved. They want try to prove me wrong so we can learn something else. That's the whole fucking point. That's why I've never understand.
Mainstream science is bullshit,
You're
bro.
fucking. I've never understood your debate with science.
Mainstream science is wrong. You know
Yeah,
what mainstream
literally the
science is?
only
Redoing
point-
my fucking ankle, which I'm going to probably be able to walk on, hopefully.
That's not
soon.
mainstream science.
That
bro.
is
That's-
mainstream.
How the fuck
No.
is that not mainstream
Yes.
science, Paul?
That's doctors, bro.
That's science.
That's
That's
anatomy.
science.
That's fine.
That's part of.
Do you know what science is?
okay. I'm specifically talking about Neil deGrasse
I feel like
Tyson.
we're
No.
hold up real quick. We're getting on these What time are we at here? Because we've moved on from the podcast.
We're fine, dude.
Straight into like
The issue
outside
with,
goddamn
the second
arguments.
it's not tangible, to where you can't see it working is the second you're like, oh man,
Okay.
they fucking fucked it. Man, it's a conspiracy.
You can go as far deep as you
Oh
want
man,
to.
astrology, those people looking at stars, that's all fake bullshit because
Jesse,
I can't physically
Jesse,
fucking
tell
see
me
it.
if you
the
can-
shit in my ankle you can fucking
Tell
see.
me if you can get access and go see one of those telescopes. You go get fucking access to one of those $1 million telescopes. Tell them you'll
So I
pay.
get drunk and break it all?
No, you don't have to get drunk. Why don't you have access to it? Why can't you see it? Why can't you see the stars?
I bet he could if he paid enough money.
Do it. Do it and let me know what
He
happens.
doesn't have that amount of
Why the fuck
money.
would I want to
Why
be
does
able
it
to
cost that
fucking
amount of
see
money?
numbers and
Taxpayers pay
graph
for it.
Shit's expensive, bro.
Taxpayers paid for it, bro. Why don't we have access to it, bro? These
So I need to go
scientists
through
have
10
control
years?
of it.
No, so I need to go through 10 years of understanding the technology that fucking created it?
No, you have
I'm
eyes.
fucking-
You have eyes. Why don't you fucking go and look
So
through the
you
telescope
think
and
so
see?
you think they're one of those kind of telescopes? You legitimately think they're one of those kind of telescopes that you just look through and you're like, wow, that's the information.
That's all like computer.
Man, I
it's
fucking know it
computer
now.
imaging and
No, I'm sure that.
Oh
they-
my God,
I'm sure
dude.
I'm sure they have telescopes that you could legitimately see Saturn for what it is. Are you trying to tell me they don't have that? Because a P900 can legitimately, basically see Jupiter and all of its moons revolving around it. So you're telling me they don't have a higher powered telescope than a $900 camera, Jesse, that you don't have access to?
I'm sure you
Dude,
could see
fucking
Jupiter.
$900 what are you arguing right now?
I'm just saying, why don't we have access to it?
Why
'Cause-
would
Why would they give the public access? And that's not a denial of. Hear me out.
Can I check my Facebook on it?
That's not a denial
Can I check
of
my
information.
Facebook?
That's not like why would they give the
Logic?
public
Logic?
Hold up.
Where's the logic?
Can I finish?
Yeah.
And then you'll have all the logic for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would they give the public access? And I don't mean access as in like, oh man, we want to hide this information from them. I mean access as in these are very, very expensive pieces of equipment, and you don't want some drunk asshole spilling his fucking milk or his fucking Bush
That's
Light
not logic,
all
bro.
over. That
That's
is
not
logic.
You can
Well,
legitimately.
what would you do
can-
with that satellite?
You could handle
You'd be
it.
like, hey,
It's
here's
not a
$100.
I'm not saying a satellite. I'm saying a telescope.
Whatever.
Yeah,
a telescope.
that telescope is not $50.
Go
Right. There's
go-
there's
go in
specific
there.
there's specific ways you can handle it, just like you do a museum, where people can actually look at it because we're the ones who paid
with
for
the
it.
Museums,
10 years,
I
with the
guarantee
10
you
years
look up-
of understanding all the mathematics that come into reading that shit and the dimensions and the photons and all the
So you're
shit. I
Paul,
can't even
Paul, that's a
begin to
lie because you
explain to
can't go. Please go to a museum right now and hold with your own hand a Fabergé egg. They won't let you fucking do it
Okay.
because you might break it. The same reason they won't let you use the fucking telescope because you might break it.
No, that's false, man. That's false. I mean, we pay for it.
How is that false?
What do you mean? You're comparing an egg to a telescope. You literally put your eye to a telescope. You can squish a fucking egg and it breaks instantly.
I feel like you're not.
When
no,
you're- when
you're
you
not
take a
understanding.
You know what a Fabergé egg is?
What is that?
That's what I got from that.
I don't know
A
what a
Fabergé egg
no,
is?
I don't.
They're
It's like a jewel
a
encrusted.
jeweled egg.
Yeah,
it's not a real
it's
egg.
not a real egg.
It's in the shape
Anyways,
of an
my
egg.
Okay.
point is, you go. Okay,
They
you're
don't
not
open
allowed,
up. They don't open up.
You know how ignorant it sounds to say that no one is allowed unless you have money to look through these telescopes.
You're
that
not
we
allowed.
have-
You're
that
not
we
allowed to
have
touch
paid
the
for.
Mona Lisa.
That we have paid for.
You're not allowed to touch the Mona Lisa.
And fuck the Mona Lisa. You should be able to come on the Mona
The
Lisa.
Mona Lisa-
That's an awful fucking painting.
The Mona Lisa-
It's an awful painting. Come on the Mona Lisa before you
Hey.
fuck with the goddamn
Yeah,
telescope
we're gonna
in
continue
Nevada.
this. We're gonna continue this talk outside. Thanks for listening to Talk Junkies. Hit the
That guy-
subscribe button. Hit the bell notification, and most importantly, to all our junkies out there.
Stay fly.